2024 is looking very promising for U.S. soccer. The U.S. men's national team returns to the Olympics after missing multiple editions. Thank you, Jason Kreis. But okay, let's forget about him. We are back in the Olympics. And we will also likely be playing the 2024 Copa America. Both of these events will be played during the summer, and we likely won't be able to bring our best players to both of them, even though they will not be played simultaneously, which begs the question, which of these two tournaments should we prioritize? Hi, and you're here on Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to another episode with Herc Gomez. Today we have segment 2 of the 2-episode series that we're doing here with Herc at the channel for the 2026 cycle. We already released episode 1, so you can go check that out. This one we're going to mainly focus on 2024, the Copa America that we likely will play, and the Olympics that we are qualified already. Now before we start, make sure to hit the like button, because if you don't hit the like button, your club, the club you love so much, the soccer club that you're so passionate about, will lose this weekend. Do you want to get blamed for that? No. So smash the like button right now and comment down below. Which one would you prioritize, the Copa America or the Olympics, and why? Maybe watch the entire video so you can understand the different importance of each one. But feel free to comment on your own. You probably have thought about it yourself. Thank you for smashing the like button. Let's play the intro and let's bring in Herc Gomez. Okay, everyone, if you watched the previous one, this is a new segment, the second segment here of this mini series we had with Herc about the 2026 cycle. We talked in the previous one mainly about the importance of this cycle and the 2026 World Cup. But what we didn't do is we didn't talk about all the things that will happen in between. And for this segment, I want to bring up two specific tournaments that one we might play, the other one we're confirmed to play. But before we even start that, Herc, I'm not going to ask how you're doing because people already saw that on the last episode. They know you're doing just fine, right?
I hope so. I'm doing good. Okay.
Still doing fine. Palmeiras also is still the greatest team in the Americas from the last episode of this one. And hopefully they'll win the Club World Cup someday, even though it's going to become much harder when they add more European teams. But nevertheless, the two tournaments I want to talk about to you is the 2024. Is there a
Brazilian team that's won it before? Internacional.
Against Barcelona everyone talks about that player, Adriano Gabiru. No one forgot that guy. Yeah, he never did anything else in his career.
Who was the other one? The Argentine that played in Inter.
D'Alessandro.
D'Alessandro, he was legit.
D'Alessandro.
Is he still playing? I think he's still playing.
No, he retired. I think he retired. You know who was in that Inter team you just mentioned?
Ronaldinho.
No. Ronaldinho was in Barcelona, the Inter team that won.
Okay, who was it?
He's in ML. He just left, but he was in MLS, or he still is.
He just left?
I think he left. I don't know if they renewed him. I don't know if Orlando renewed him. Alexandre Pato.
Oh, that's right. Pato left. He left,
but he was in that Inter team. He was 18. That's when they sold him to AC Milan.
No way. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Who's the goalkeeper?
I can't remember right now. It wasn't someone too famous, but I remember that team had Fernandão up top that unfortunately passed away in a horrible helicopter accident.
Wow.
But there were some big names. Fernandão was a big name. Pato was there. But Gabiru came off the bench to score against one of the greatest. It wasn't the Messi team, but that was one of the greatest teams of all time too, with Ronaldinho leading the way. And then Internacional wins 1-0. And unfortunately, in recent years, we don't see that happen more. European teams have dominated the World Cup.
It's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, but Copa America 2024 and Olympics 2024. For anyone that wants some context here, in 2024, we are back in the Olympics. I think we missed the last 3, right? We missed the last 3 Olympics. The Olympics is a U23 tournament that you can bring 3 players over the age. So it is prestigious because it's the Olympics, but in the world of soccer, a lot of the nations don't take it as seriously as they should have maybe. I know Mexico does, Brazil does, but in Europe, they don't take it as seriously.
Yeah, FIFA doesn't take it as seriously. It's not an actual sanctioned FIFA tournament.
Yeah, so clubs are not obligated to release their players either. The players have to force it. Now, on the other hand, we have the Copa America that will be that same summer, not at the same date, but earlier in the summer. And it's heavily rumored. Tyler Adams kind of leaked that we're probably going to play. And if we play, it looks like
my man leaked it. Yeah.
He sort of leaked. So for the sake of this episode, let's assume it's confirmed. there'll be 10 CONMEBOL nations, all 10 of them, 6 CONCACAF nations, sort of like the Centenario we had in 2016. You definitely remember that one well too. So with that said, we're probably not going to be able to bring our best players to both tournaments, right, Herc?
I doubt it. I doubt your best. I will start with no, and then you can ask me what you want from there. Can I before we start? Just I don't want to set you off. I don't want to aggravate you, but the Copa America by itself, not the actual Centenario, not the actual combination and mixture with other teams here in the States, it's a terrible tournament, my man.
Oh, it is.
They do 2 groups of what, 5?
No, that was like the last edition. Normally they do like groups of 4 and they invite 2 nations.
Right. I was in the 2007 version of Copa America with the US, but the last version, the one that Messi won, was 2 groups of 5.
Eliminate Bolivia and Venezuela.
You play against each other. Everybody plays against each other in each group, and then you eliminate Bolivia and Venezuela and do the tournament again. Like, that's ridiculous.
No, it is because there's not enough nations, right, to make an actual tournament. I think the 16 nation with CONMEBOL and CONCACAF together is brilliant and should always be that way.
And you know why they don't do it? It's because there's what's greed. It's how much of the pie is shared within whom, and they can't figure out exactly how to slice up and divvy it. And let's be honest, these CONCACAF markets, maybe at least 2 of them know their worth, and they know, at least Mexico does, they know what they're bringing to the table, and they want a bigger slice. That's the reason of why you don't see Mexican teams in Libertadores, or you haven't seen them in Libertadores that much over the years, and you haven't seen them in Copa America, and you haven't seen them in Sudamericana and all these different things.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it comes to money. That's the main problem right there. But it's the same with every tournament, right? That's why there's a battle between UEFA and FIFA too. World Cup, Euros, etc. Super Club World Cup and Champions League. So we have the Copa America. The main difference between these two is the Copa America will be played against teams that are potential World Cup contenders, like Argentina, Brazil. Senior team players, I would assume, because the Copa America has some gap between two, all the teams will bring their best this time. Last time Brazil brought a C or D team in the Centenario here, and they got eliminated in the group stage to Peru with a goal scored. It was
Raúl Ruiz Diaz.
He scored his hand. Yeah, he scored
and
his
hand.
And
it cost Dunga his job.
Yeah, that was the good thing of it. But but anyhow, the second time it cost Dunga his job. But anyhow, this time it's probably going to be the best team. So from a competitive standpoint, there's no doubt in my mind that the Copa America will be more competitive than the Olympics. Now, going back to what we talked about, there's a little thing that we need to mention here. The Olympics might be better to draw in casual sports fans in the U.S., right? If we get a medal, all of a sudden, these guys that don't follow soccer, guys and girls, whoever watches the sport, they'll go on and say, wait a second. The men's national team is... I knew the women's national team can get medals, but the men's are good now, and we have a World Cup coming up?
I see where you're going with this.
So which one would you prioritize?
You are right. I would always prioritize the sporting over the financial, and I will include bringing on casuals as part of the financial. That is growth. But as far as sporting, that is a different growth. So there are 2 types of growth. There's a growth of football and the attention, and there's a growth of on-the-field performance and the development of these players. The Olympics is a U23 tournament. It's not sanctioned by FIFA. Most of these clubs, as you previously mentioned, and rightfully so, won't be even allowing their players to go to this tournament. So that just in general, the fact that the majority of countries around the world don't take it seriously, and it's a U23 tournament, I will tell you the tournament to go for, the tournament to put all your eggs in one basket is Copa America, Centenario, where you will not only face better competition, but you will have the majority of your group so you can work with. You can bring those players in. They will have to allow those players to come. It's a great opportunity. Messi's not retiring, still maybe be playing. Neymar, no idea. Depends what time of the year it is. If it's during Carnival, he won't be there.
Or his sister's birthday, yeah.
Or his sister's birthday. But if not, he will be there, hopefully. You have a Uruguay team that disappointed in this World Cup that is going to be a contender, surely. They've got some very interesting players. You've got Ecuador, who was one of the youngest teams, at the 2022 World Cup that I thought deserved, I shouldn't say deserved, terrible
Could
tournament
have,
football.
right?
But it very much could have gotten to the next round if they didn't bottle it up that game versus the Netherlands. Colombia, what happened to Colombia and all that talent they have, I don't see happening again. They didn't score for 7 games leading up into the World Cup, and they didn't have a chance of making it. That's going to be a strong team. And whoever else you want to throw in there that you potentially do something special. With CONCACAF, with the U.S. team, with Mexico, who is always strong when it comes to playing in the States, with Canada, who's going to be interesting to see how they change, letting go of a few pillars of their team, how that generational shift goes for them. With the Panamanian side that I think has improved a lot, a Costa Rican side that's, I don't know what to expect of them, but they got very interesting players.
They're trying to rejuvenate, it looks like.
They're trying to rejuvenate, but their coach only gets in their way. In spite of their coach, they try to do good things. So it has the potential to be a good level, potential to be interesting matchups. And quite frankly, because of the lack of games that you can play, no World Cup qualifiers, it's essential that you treat this tournament as the actual World Cup. This is your World Cup. This is your dry run. So whoever the coach is, whoever the players are, you have to treat this as if this is the World Cup.
Yeah, now I'll give you my opinion on it. I would prioritize the Copa America because I think it's probably the most competitive games we'll get in this cycle besides the World Cup. So it's the only way you can test our players, put them in a tough environment, build a team, bond, get experience together, right? Because it's not just about individual talent. The players have to play together, learn to play together. And you don't learn by beating up Grenada 10-0. You learn by getting beat up by Argentina, learning or trying to grind out results against tougher opponents. I do have one fear of the federation, not the federation, whoever's conducting the program then, that'll be in the summer of 2024. Brazil in the last Olympic cycle, because of the depth Brazil has, Brazil went for the Copa America and the Olympics, right? They fell short in the Copa America, lost in the final to Argentina. I know people were very dramatic about that, but I was like, it can happen. I mean, Argentina just won a World Cup. It happens. And Brazil went on to win the gold medal for the Olympics.
You're downplaying Brazil, by the way.
What?
You're downplaying Brazil losing, by the way.
Maybe.
They lost at home against Messi, Argentina. You're down. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing with that game was, I was gonna pull a Berhalter and say we had a dominant performance, which we did. but Argentina hit us in a counter once. Di Maria is brilliant.
It's big game. Big game.
The Paul Paredes, Otamendi, they hacked Neymar all game, which was a strategy and it worked. And we're not going to go to that game right now. But what I'm trying to say is Brazil went for both. My fear is the U.S., instead of focusing on one, trying to spread themselves way too thin and just having a disaster on both, right? We're not that deep.
I don't think they can do that. And let me tell you why I don't think they can do that. Because I think their hand will be forced. I don't think these clubs are going to allow the Pulisics of the world, the Adams of the world, the Brendan Aronsons of the world, the Serginho Dest of the world, the Matt Turners of the world to go play in a U23 tournament. I really don't.
Neymar got it though. Like Neymar, Richarlison, they pressed and they got it.
You mentioned it. I was just about to say, you mentioned it. They have to literally themselves ask for it. And the players you just mentioned are pillars in their team. You know, Richarlison's Everton goal scorer. Neymar is, I mean, literally, if you're talking about goal scoring, there's only Pelé at his level on the national team. What he's done, what he means. At the time, he was the highest paid player at PSG. There's certain things certain players can ask for and get away with. I don't know if any of the players in this U.S. men's national team setup have that kind of authority in their club team.
I think you are right. I don't think they have and even the personality maybe to do it.
That's right? Another thing. That's a good point.
Right. I don't know if they have I don't want to say the balls, because it's not about having the balls to do it. That's not what it's about. Right. It's more about, like, Neymar is the type of guy that goes and confronts their sporting director. Pulisic wouldn't do that, like, directly, at least.
He would just write a book about it.
He would write a book after. It's like, I hate this guy, terrible guy, horrible guy. But it's more about like being confrontational, and it looks like for U.S. soccer, it's not really the players; it's more the parents that are confrontational. Unfortunately,
Oh, low blows.
it's true though. It's true.
You know more about that. You work in the youth soccer setup. I honestly, Sebi's in youth soccer as well, and he always talks about that. I dabbled in AYSO a bit, but the people I'm with at AYSO like don't even know I played soccer, so it's not too bad, you know.
I have a funny story. I was completely off topic. I was doing a tournament with the kids I coach, and I coach elementary school kids. They're learning to play soccer, right? And mainly what I do is like let them play, let them have fun. That's what they need to do, and obviously do put them on setups that lead to them to learn. And then we had a tournament among the school, only the kids that I coach, and one parent came up to me complaining that the tactical approach, these are 7-year-olds, Herc, 7 or 8-year-olds. The tactics, they're not understanding positioning and how to play. I told the parent that next time I'll teach him the Pep Guardiola tiki-taka, the 7-year-olds.
Yeah, there you go.
So you have to be sarcastic.
You should have said I should have played with that right back who slots into the midfield. My bad.
Yeah, I should have maybe tried some Pep Guardiola tiki-taka positional play, total football, all the way back from the 70s. And the kids, they're 8-year-olds. And parents don't really understand that in the U.S. There is problems in Brazil, too. I mean, soccer moms, soccer
dads. There's problems all over. Don't let anybody tell you that this is...
It's not exclusive for the U.S.
It's not. And people don't realize. They just only know about the U.S. So they assume this is like, oh, look at Americans. This is what Americans do. This is terrible. This happens elsewhere as well. This happens a lot in other countries. Just really quickly, I did AYSO with my daughter last year. She was 4 at the time, and my problem with it is they're 4-year-olds, and I don't know if you've been around 4-year-olds for an extended period of time. Their attention span isn't that long,
non-existent.
Yes, and these games can go from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and they keep changing. And these kids are on schedules for naps. They're on schedules to eat. They're on schedules for different things. You know, they're kids. You would have a game at 3 o'clock in the day in Southern California. So that means training half an hour starts at 3 and the game starts at 3:30 and they play 30 minutes. For 4-year-olds, I'm thinking to myself, like, what are they going to train 30 minutes for, then play 30 minutes for? These kids are burnt. Like, kids were on the ground crying, kicking and screaming.
Grabbing grass, pulling grass.
Yeah, playing with daisies, whatever the case may be, chasing butterflies. Like you said, they just need to play. Like, even if it's 2 15-minute halves, just let them play. Show them, you know, the basics and how to have fun and how to get along with each other. Let them have a sense of appreciation and love for the game. Then you can go into the next.
I asked that when I was still working with Orlando City soccer schools here. We had a meeting once, and Pareja was there. He usually is very involved with the youth setup when he can, obviously. And I asked him that. I was like, how do I teach the kids? How do I teach all that to kids, right? And he just said, you don't. You just let them play. You don't teach them. You don't teach how to do a skill. You let them play. And he explained also the difficulties in the U.S. to do that, because not just in the U.S., in the world, because when you do that, parents think you're scamming them. You're like, oh, yeah. It's like, no, this is how they learn. But parents think you're just scamming. You're just giving them a ball, letting them play. And that's not quite what's happening.
I'll tell you what I did with my daughter. I had that experience in AYSO, and we'll go back to AYSO. I don't feel right now is essentially the time where she's ready for it. So what we did is, we live here in the South Bay, and next in the South Bay, the LA Galaxy has an indoor facility. It's actually pretty cool. And my daughter and my son, who's 2 years old, my son is 2 years old, she goes to a class with a bunch of 4 and 5-year-olds, and I do a daddy and me class with my son. That's 50 minutes. And it's me literally holding his hand, and he's an indoor facility, like a 6v6, 7v7 indoor facility with boards and whatnot. And they play games. They're there in their little uniforms, and they run side to side. They get a sense of what it's like to be around teammates. They have fun. They kick a ball every once in a while. They pick up cones. They put it on their head, like basic instructions, but they get a love and appreciation for it. My son now, anytime he sees an American flag on TV because of a national anthem, he screams goal. Anytime he sees a soccer ball, he screams goal. Anytime he sees anything on TV that resembles grass, he screams goal. There's like a sense of appreciation that comes with just letting them have fun. The rest follows. the rest will follow.
Yeah, the coaching comes later in life. Right there,
Yes.
you need to make the kid fall in love with the sport and want to play it. Once they want to play it, later on you teach them, because a lot of the things the coaches try to teach them at age 7, you can quickly teach it at age 14, right?
Yeah, well,
With
yeah.
a lot.
Honestly, if my daughter didn't play an organized sport until she was until 10, 11, I'd be fine if it was just 1v1 with the ball, her and I, until then, because I think she'd get just as much out of it.
And playing with friends. But we completely got sidetracked with the soccer dad, soccer mom talk. You are a soccer dad right there. Hopefully you don't cause any trouble to the coaches.
Don't bench my kid.
All right. Don't bench Herc's kid. You guys heard it. Whenever they're in the national team, it could be a problem. But back to this one. So you don't fear that we would spread ourselves too thin. We would probably just go all in the Copa America.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be allowed to.
So to close this segment here, you already answered. Go all in on the Copa America, bring the best. Then we go to the Olympics. If we don't bring our best, is it even realistic to get a medal?
Oh, it's a good question.
I know it's a tough one.
How important is it to you to get a medal?
It really isn't. I never cared too much about the Olympics. I only cared once. It was 2016 in Rio when Brazil won it, because it was the first Brazil.
Olympic
it's the only
trophy for Brazil.
Yeah, it's like Brazil had won everything in soccer besides the Olympics. So that was it. The last Olympics for Brazil, I didn't care at all. Brazilians didn't care that much. That one was special. It was in Brazil and it was the first time. So I don't care too much. To me, the Olympics is really about those casuals, because the casual sports fans don't really watch the Copa America. They don't even know sometimes it's that. But the Olympics, they're watching swimming, they're watching wrestling, they're watching judo, they're watching soccer, track and field. I watch track and field in the Olympics. I don't know what happens with track and field for 4 years, but in the Olympics, I watch it. So I do think being successful in the Olympics, U.S. soccer, will get these casuals to all of a sudden, okay, so maybe it's not just the U.S. women's national team that can win stuff, the men's. And they don't also understand her. I talk a lot to casual sports fans. They don't understand that the Olympics is a U23 tournament for men's soccer. Right. They don't understand that.
Yeah. So it's what I said. This is what I will say. Almost feel like the Olympics gave the Mexican national team and the public a false sense of security. Mm-hmm. You could and you should aspire to win U17 World Cups, U20 World Cups. The Olympics, if you're competing, that's the way. I mean, you compete, you try to win, right? There's no use in going to a tournament if you're not trying to win it. But even when you win it, when you do well, that gives you zero guarantees that the program is going in the right direction. Mexico, for the first time in 7 World Cups, or in 8 World Cups, excuse me, now it's only Brazil that's done it. In 8 World Cups, failed to qualify to the next round. Before that, 3rd place, bronze, Olympics in Tokyo, just recently. Before that, they won 2012 Olympics against Brazil.
Maybe Brazil.
In the final.
Hulk playing. Hulk playing.
Neymar. Yeah. Julio Cesar. Was it Julio Cesar in goal?
Was Neymar in that one?
Yeah, Neymar was there.
He was?
I believe Neymar. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, what does that get you? You know, if you can't graduate these players, the notoriety, all right, sure. The casuals pay attention, like you said, for the first time in 4 years, and then they'll leave because, like as you said, with track, you know, it doesn't make you a track fan. No. All of a sudden, you're not following what's going on, you know, in world track or in American track. I don't think it does anything for you. It's great if who you send can do well. It speaks volumes of your program. But the ultimate goal is the full team. The ultimate goal is the World Cup. The ultimate goal is the progression of these players. I think there's more progression. It's not even arguable if they play in Copa America than if they play in the Olympics.
I would argue back that the thing with Mexico is they don't need to grow the sport in their country. It's already as big as it can get, right? What I'm wondering, and this is more of like a theory because I have no proof or evidence that this would work. If the men's national team gets a medal, it would be the first time in U.S. men's national team history, right? That they get an Olympic medal, right? Or have I gone crazy?
I'm trying to think. I believe they got 4th place in...
Back when it was in Greece?
I'm trying to think. It was Landon's...
But he didn't get a medal. They didn't get a medal, right?
No. They actually ended up losing to that Spanish team that ended up being that Spanish team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more about the timing too. So we have this Olympics in Paris, and if we get a medal, there's a World Cup 2 years later. If the media talks about it well enough, it's like, hey, we got a medal here. There's a World Cup, and then the other Olympics is in the United States, right? Is it in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah, in LA. So we'll host one. So I just think if we get it, it could be the perfect storm to bring more people in. Now, I might be full of crap. We could even get a medal and nothing could change. I just think it's one of those moments where it's like, do it and it can be a turning point. But again, looking at the big picture, which is the 2026 World Cup, you prioritize the Copa America because that's what will prepare you. But I do think it could do wonders. But my question back to you is, if we bring our best to Copa America, do you think it's realistic with the young players we have to get a medal in the Olympics?
Wait, say that again.
We brought our best
to the Copa America.
To the Copa America. So we brought Pulisic's there, McKennie, Adams, Pepe, all the guys are there.
I would be talking out of my other end if I tell you yes, because I don't know the youth setup for the rest of the countries, you know? Mm-hmm. Is it possible? Sure. In the same way it's possible that countries who don't do anything at the full national team level have won the Olympics, you know? The Nigerias of the world, Mexico, whatever the case may be. Anything is possible, sure, because it's a tournament setting. You don't necessarily need to be the best team to win. You just need to be the team that advances and wins the important one. But it's impossible for me to tell. I would be just lying if I told you I had any idea on that.
So I'll leave it on this. I hope all the other national teams bring their worst team possible, because the casual fans won't understand that. So it doesn't matter. If the goal is to grow, I'm fine with that. But Herc, thank you once again for doing this mini series here in the channel, 2 separate episodes to kick off the 2026 cycle. You want to update anyone on anything else? I know Football Americas will come back. It probably has come back when this is out. Anything you want to update everyone?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Soon.
So everyone stay tuned on Football Americas. He'll announce it there, okay?
I'll announce it somewhere. I need to make it official first, but there's something in the works. So I appreciate the love from you and everybody else, and we'll be seeing each other.
Is it a big announcement?
It's for me. Yeah. Probably not for anybody else.
Are you sure? If it's you related to soccer, it might be a big announcement.
Maybe. I mean, but it all depends. It's in the eye of the beholder.
All right, everyone, keep track of Herc then on Twitter, Football Americas. Thank you for watching, everyone. Drop a like if you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.